Peace, love, and healing, family. I was just breaking down the soul and the spirit, but I wanted to talk about the consciousness of self. I wanted to talk about what people refer to as the ego consciousness. So, the ego consciousness is a consciousness that was built by memory and experience of its external reality and how it chose to express itself in that particular experience at that time. The problem that we have, which is not at the fault of our ego consciousness, is that the world that we're currently living on, which I would like to call, in another phase, it's a prison planet, but in another phase, it's a masterclass of learning. The world that we're living in is governed by illusions. So the ego consciousness, the consciousness of self, is currently under the control and is governed by illusions. Many people, as I said before, are not walking around with light energy within their bodies. So their egos are constantly being influenced by the environment around them. And that can come in many forms, and can come in many forms of programming, comes many forms of food and all these friends and all cultures. Everything is external, is influencing this consciousness of self, and its perception is being highly limited and is highly misguided. I know there's many spiritual teachers that will demonize the ego, saying that you need to raise above the ego, you need to discard it. But guys, our ego consciousness didn't know that it's governed by illusions. That's why we need to enlighten ourselves, open up our souls, and let our souls guide our ego consciousness. I don't even call my ego consciousness like that. I have a name for it. I call it Sahu, the consciousness built by memory and experience. If we can guide this consciousness type, it can become more enlightened, and it can become an authentic vehicle in how we express source consciousness. It can be used to our benefit, but right now it's being turned against us in many ways, and we're collecting so much waste, so much trauma, so much illusion within our bodies, and it's aging us. It's doing so much, and I will explain these things in another video. But we need to enlighten our ego consciousness with truth. We need to enlighten our ego consciousness with essence, and we need to enlighten our ego consciousness with the divine blueprint and the expression of the all.